Welcome back, guys, to CryptosRUs. I am George. It's a special, very late night session. And that's because Bitcoin did it again, formed a new all-time high, and Bitcoin is now sitting above $35,000. $35,000 and could hit $36,000 by the end of this stream. So, massive breakout for Bitcoin. Of course, I'm excited. A lot of you guys are excited. You want to talk Bitcoin. You want to hear what I have to say. Well, if that's the case, you come to the right place. So make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you don't miss out on any of my future videos or streams. In fact, there is one tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. But welcome, guys. As always, my late night sessions, my late night sessions are special. In fact, I would say they're legendary because usually it involves one or many drinks from my friend Mr. Bean. And hopefully you guys have your drinks ready too. So let's get started. Let's talk Bitcoin, of course. What happened? Why did it break out? Why is it above 36,000? Where is it heading? All the questions that you may have or you're thinking right now. So let's change my screen here, if I can get my screen working. It is not, so let me see if I can fix that. Maybe not. Maybe I can't fix it. Technical difficulties. There we go. I got it now. Got it. I'm a whiz with tech, just so you know. All right, so Bitcoin is at $35,224. It went up as high as 35,862, almost 36,000. It took a breather, and now it's sitting around 35,200-ish, right? Obviously, you can see there was a big breakout, but if you zoom out a little bit, you know, for about 2 days, Bitcoin was holding between 34.5 and let's just say 30,000, right? So last few days, I talked about how, yeah, there's going to be small dips and here, you know, buying opportunities. But overall, these jumps, you know, the frequency of these jumps are increasing at an exponential rate, right? So this period was only about 2 days. 2 days. So let's zoom out a little bit. No, that's too far. Okay, but down here, right? It took 22 days for Bitcoin to break above 19.5. Then it took about 8 days to break 24.2. Then it took about two and a half days to break above 29.2. Now, you know, where we are now, breaking above, it's pretty darn quick. I have to zoom in a little bit. Let's just, you know, let's just draw it out. Just to be consistent, but I'm thinking it's like 2 days, right? So from here, this 34.5 to here, no, that's not what I want. That's not date range. Date range right here. Okay, so from here to here, 3 days. Sorry, I was off by 1 day, right? So it took us only 3 days to break above 34,500, and now we're at 35,300, and by the end of the stream we could be at 36. I'm saying 100. I meant thousands. All right, in case you can't tell, I had a few before I started this stream. So by the end of the stream we could see $36,000, which is what I meant. And who knows where it'll be tomorrow, right? It could be 36, 37. I've always said after 20,000 things start moving quick. They start moving really quick. Things just move, and there's really no lines, no rhyme or reasons or anything like that because it's unknown territory. Every time now Bitcoin forms a new all-time high, it's unknown territory because there is nothing above it. It's never been this high before, right? So all these lines I've been drawing are just you know, recent supports, resistances. But as you're noticing, they only last a few days now. They don't even last a week or a month. They're lasting for such a short amount of time. So who knows? You know, up here, this uncharted territory. You know, who knows? Bitcoin tomorrow, we could wake up and Bitcoin's at $40,000, right? Just this morning, I talked about how Bitcoin now being at $35,000, to think that it could go to 50,000 doesn't seem too far-fetched anymore, right? So right now, it's still, people are wondering, can Bitcoin actually get above 100,000? Can it actually get above 200, 300, 400, $500,000? Right now, maybe it seems like it's a little far off, right? But these jumps are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at 35,000, 50,000 does not seem unreasonable. I mean, honestly, the way Bitcoin is moving, we could see 50,000 by the end of next week. We could see 40,000 by the end of this week, right? Once we hit 40,000, 50,000 is right around the corner. And once we hit 50,000, does it seem like 100,000 is that far-fetched? No. You just have to double from 50,000 to 100,000, right? And once we hit 100,000, does 200,000 seem far-fetched? No, because we're already at 100,000, right? So these kind of jumps and increments, right, is making what seems far-fetched now reality, right? What once seemed the impossible, that Bitcoin could actually get above $100,000 to six figures, now does not seem so far-fetched. Does not seem like fantasy or dream. Actually seems like it's right around the corner, right? So those of you guys that stuck with it, congratulations. I know a lot of you guys have stuck with me for a while, and you picked up Bitcoin in the 3,000s, right? Now you have made 11x within less than a year. Think about that, 1,100% gains within just 7-8 months, right? So that's the way to do it. That's the way you win at Bitcoin. You buy low, you hold low, and then you wait for life-changing wealth. That's how it's always been. That is how it is and how it will always be, right? So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. Now I said a lot, so I'm gonna pour myself a drink before I get thirsty. Michael, I saw that super chat. I appreciate it. Always appreciate your support, guys. So, with that said, if you do want to join my Patreon, please do so. I do have Patreon. A lot more people have been joining recently, and I've been appreciative of that. So if you want to support me or talk to me and others and maybe get some exclusive content, check that out. Also, I had new students into my Teachable page. For those of you guys that are new, you want a crash course on Bitcoin, you don't know what the hell it is and why it's going up, you should check it out. All right. So now that I have my drink with me, all ready to go. So what else do I want to show you guys besides just saying that it's going to go to $500,000? Well, let's see. Today, the big news is this, and I covered this in my morning stream. Although every single headline today is about JP Morgan, right? Who really cares at this point? JP Morgan, their estimate, $146,000 seems high, but that pales to where Bitcoin can be, right? Even Citibank said 300,000. Guggenheim said 400,000. ARK Invest said 500,000, right? And Max Kaiser and others have said millions, right? So even though this made big headlines, JP Morgan now says 146,000. Well, this is really just the beginning, because if corporations, institutional investors, if they're really going to convert their gold to Bitcoin, there's going to be so much money flowing in. It's a tsunami of money coming in. It's going to drive Bitcoin a lot higher than $146,000. You could bet the farm on that, because you know what? How much gold is there, right? The total value of gold, market cap of gold, is over $11 trillion. And what is the market cap of Bitcoin? Well, that's a good question. Let's bring up this site, company's market cap. Let's look at everything ranked, and let's introduce assets. So gold, no, I was wrong. It's over 12 trillion, not even 11 trillion. All right, and silver's at 1.5 trillion. But look at Bitcoin, right? Despite the fact it's above $35,000, the market cap is still tiny, 657 billion. It is now way bigger than Berkshire Hathaway, who called Bitcoin rat poison squared. Well, Warren Buffett did, and his counterpart called Bitcoin as immoral as selling freshly harvested baby brain. As if that was if that still gets to me. I don't know who could think of that, but anyways, I showed you guys the video recently. So Bitcoin is now bigger than Berkshire Hathaway, bigger than Samsung, Visa, Walmart, JP Morgan, MasterCard, Procter & Gamble, and continues higher. By this time tomorrow, Bitcoin goes up a little bit. It'll be bigger than Alibaba. Pretty soon, it's going to be bigger than Tesla. So if you thought Tesla was big, well, Bitcoin's about to surpass them in market cap, right? So Bitcoin is about closing in on half of silver's market cap, but it has a long way to go before reaching gold. So what JP Morgan was saying about how companies are going to diversify, move their gold, sell their gold, and buy Bitcoin, right? If that really happens, you know what? That is so much money that's going to be flowing to Bitcoin. We're talking about trillions. We're not talking about billions. We're talking about trillions upon trillions upon trillions that's going to be flowing out of gold into Bitcoin. That is a lot of money. Not to mention a lot of the hundreds of millions or hundreds of billions that some of these tech companies hold in terms of cash, their cash reserves. Guess what? That's going to be flowing into Bitcoin. You know, just Apple and Microsoft alone hold close to 500 billion of cash on hand. Just think about that. 500 billion of cash, not even gold or stocks, cash. And they're seeing that inflate in front of their eyes. They want to do something with that. Amazon, Alphabet, Facebook, each one has about $50 billion worth of cash. I don't know about Tencent. Tesla has about 20 billion. I don't know about Alibaba. Just think about that, right? As they also FOMO into Bitcoin, they want to preserve their cash, right? They're going to be putting some of that money into Bitcoin. Think about how much money is going to be flowing in. You know, 35,000 is really the beginning. 50,000 is really still the beginning. 100,000, even 146,000 is really the beginning. It's going to go much, much higher, guys. Much, much higher. And every single day, as we watch Bitcoin climb up and up and up, it proves us right that holding Bitcoin is the right move, and Bitcoin is going to go much higher, right? So, yeah, very, very exciting. Very exciting. I saw this that just came out an hour ago. The number reported of stolen Bitcoin drops by 92% as Bitcoin security appears to be improving. Of course, this makes sense. Exchanges are a lot smarter. They're protecting themselves from hacks, right? And also, not only that, users are smarter. Users are now protecting their own Bitcoin and crypto with their own wallets, and they're utilizing two-factor authentication, right? And just being very careful with their private keys and their passwords and everything overall. So, of course, this makes a whole lot of sense, right? And of course, this is a great thing. It's a great thing as security improves, stolen Bitcoins drops, right? Overall, this is a very, very good thing. Now, there's two other things I want to show you guys. Number one, grayscale. Grayscale numbers just keep increasing by leaps and bounds. This morning, I showed you figures from yesterday on January 4th. Bitcoin Trust now holds about $19.1 billion worth of Bitcoins. That's a lot of Bitcoins. It just keeps going up and up and up. Today, they just revealed this not too long ago. Check it out. It went up to 19.5 billion, right? So it went up about $300 million, right? So that includes buying new Bitcoins. It also includes the price of Bitcoin going up. But you know, this number just keeps increasing and it keeps going higher and higher and higher. The institutions that keep FOMOing into Bitcoin is nonstop. It's an onslaught of money and buying that's coming into Bitcoin. And that is why this number is going up. And that is why this number is also going up. Overall, there's just so much money that is waiting to come in, and that has come in, and overall the supply just keeps getting smaller, smaller, smaller. So the last thing I want to show you is that supply. So if you take a look at it, for those of you guys that aren't aware, there's 900 Bitcoins produced per day. That's very, very tiny. That's very tiny, especially compared to how much is being bought right now. Just PayPal alone, already, their users already buy way more than 900 per day. I'll guarantee that. And then plus you have Robinhood, you have Square app, and you have all the exchanges, right? There is way more demand than supply right now. And there's only 2.4 million left to be mined. 88.5% is already done. It's out there. 18.6 exists, but really it's more like 13 million because probably about 5 million of that is already lost forever, right? So just do the math. There's 8 billion people out there, and then think about how many companies, institutions, how much money there is that's all trying to get a piece, a slice of Bitcoin. There's just so much demand. It's like this much demand and just this much supply, right? When you have that much demand with such little supply, guess what happens, right? The price goes up, and that's what we're seeing, right? It just keeps going up and up and up and up, and it's just very consistent. Very consistent. Over the last few days, we did see some volatility where Bitcoin just came down. It came down, but it wasn't too bad. About 20% drop, and guess what happened? It recovered right away, right? So the whales, they might be trying their games. They might be trying to fear you into selling your Bitcoins because they want to pick up more Bitcoins cheaper. But you know, the institutions, the big money, they're like, thank you. They're just gobbling everything up. So right now, definitely not a time to be a weak hand. Definitely not a time where you want to sell your Bitcoin. The only thing you want to do right now is accumulate as much as you can. Accumulate as much as you can because Bitcoin is going to go much, much, much higher. Much higher. All right. Whew. Said a lot there. So I'll turn to you guys for some Q&A. Oh yeah, I forgot to check CMC. So someone's telling me that if you look at overall market caps, and right now market cap went up about 12%. BTC dominance went up a little bit more, 69.2%, which is still lower than a few days ago. Like it was 72 something. So it is climbing again. But overall, most altcoins are still doing well. You look at Ethereum still at 1100. Litecoin shot up a little bit to 162. What didn't go up is XRP, and that's to be expected. But look at Cardano, up a staggering 23%. Even Stellar, a staggering 36%. Stellar has fallen a lot recently because of this XRP lawsuit, but you know they're coming up big way. So some altcoins are doing well, but VeChain up 18%, right? But you know what? Bitcoin is still the name of the game. But overall, look at the market cap, close to $1 trillion now. 947 billion. Bitcoin makes up about 653 billion, but overall we're closing in at $1 trillion global crypto market cap. Think about that. We're about 100 billion more than the peak in 2017, 2018, right? So we already surpassed that by $1 billion now, and this is what it's doing, right? It just keeps going up and up and up. Naomi, I'm glad you have strong hands, but for the wrong reasons. $220,000 for 2021. That's actually a low estimate. A low estimate compared to a lot of people who think it could be much higher than that. I heard Jack Ma's just laying low because there's a lot of scrutiny over, you know, a lot of things going on in China. So I heard he's just laying low and just trying to hide out. Will Stellar surpass Ripple? That's an interesting question. I'm going to say no, but you know what? Stranger things have happened. Stellar's at close to 5 billion. XRP is now at 10 billion. Can Stellar actually double from here and surpass XRP? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think that has happened before, but maybe it'll happen. Who knows? Who knows? That would be a shock. That would be a shock. Peter Schiff, I mean, I don't know what else you could say. He just keeps saying more and more nonsense about Bitcoin and just continues to be wrong, right? He's built his audience based on Bitcoin bugs, right? That's why he's so negative about it, and he continues to talk about it. I mean, it's obvious at this point he's just playing dumb just to get the attention. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, Shiza, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I am drinking my usual Mr. Bean with a splash of Coke or Diet Coke. Ugh. You know, the funny thing is, right now, some people are still in disbelief. Will say that, you know, what's happening right now is exactly the same as 2017. But if you paid attention, if you actually been paying attention and you haven't been a hater or someone who's jealous, you'll realize that right now in 2020 and 2021 is 100% different than 2017. Because what's going on right now is institutional FOMO. It's not retail FOMO. It's nowhere close to retail FOMO. And retail FOMO is the reason why we have 85% drops, because a lot of the people that jump in, they have no clue what they're getting involved, and they have weak hands, and when there's first signs of trouble, they leave. But institutions don't have that problem. They're used to holding on things for decades. They have very, very strong hands. So the easiest way to look at it is this, right? Obviously, with Bitcoin's rise, the searches are going up. For the past 12 months, this is the highest it's been for the last 12 months. But what about when you compare it to 2017? You know, a third, not even a halfway, right? This was retail FOMO really kicking in hard. Right now, not there yet. Not there yet. It's getting started, but nowhere close to where it was in 2017, 2018. And I've always said this, after 20,000 is when retail FOMO will start, because there's too many people that will always say, well, it's not above 20,000 and it'll just go crash down, right? But now we are way above 20,000. We're almost double of 20,000, right? Those people have nothing else to say. So now they're trying to FOMO in, right? But institutions, they're ahead of the curve, at least relatively speaking, because they know that there's just not that many Bitcoins, right? This is a new race to collect as much Bitcoins as you can, because there is a set supply. And when you have something that has a set supply, of course, you know that demand will increase, but supply will decrease, right? So you want to collect as many as you can while you can, as cheaply as you can, and that's what institutions are doing. That's the reason why things are going up, and they're going up astronomically this time, and we're seeing less volatility, which is surprising, right? And also, this is all happening while retail FOMO is still low, right? So just pay attention. You guys remember Dave Portnoy? You know how he got into Bitcoin and exited Bitcoin within like a few days? He couldn't handle it, right? It is volatile at times. Had he kept it, you know, I think he said he bought about $200,000 worth of Bitcoin, or 250,000. Had he kept that, he would have had like tripled his money. He would have tripled his money had he just had stronger hands. But then again, you know, it's a tough game. It's a tough game to be in, right? Because sometimes there are very, very bad days. There are very bad weeks. There's bad months. There's bad years. In fact, we had 3 bad years, right? But now we're reaping the rewards for having strong hands, right? So, for example, look at MicroStrategy. Within 4 months, they have made $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion within just 3 or 4 months. That is incredible. Incredible by any standards, right? Michael Saylor, he's all in. He believes in Bitcoin. He just took a chance, went all in. Not only all in, he actually raised debt and went more all in. He's over leveraged at this point, but he made the right call. And look at it. He made $1.3 billion within 5 months span. I mean, think about that, right? So any of you guys that bought in early or late to 2020, you made a ton of money. You made a ton of money. And again, like I said, this is just the beginning. Michael Saylor does have amazing elevator pitch. He has nailed that down, right? And of course, it's self-serving too, because as he gets more people involved with Bitcoin, draws more attention, gets more CEOs to put in their cash reserves into Bitcoin, of course it drives Bitcoin up and it helps him become even richer, right? He basically became a billionaire almost overnight. So let's not pretend it's not self-serving, but overall he's doing a phenomenal job. If you listen to any of his interviews, he explains things perfectly in a way that you can understand, right? So he's kind of like the new face of Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, he's even more elegant than, you know, Roger Ver. Does anyone talk about Roger anymore? Back in the day, he was Bitcoin Jesus, right? He'd done a lot for Bitcoin, but he ruined his image by supporting Bitcoin Cash. In fact, his partner in crime, Jihuan Wu from Bitmain, did a lot of shenanigans, bet huge on Bitcoin Cash, lost a ton of money, and now he got kicked out of Bitmain, right? He kicked out his other partner, but supposedly illegally. Now he got kicked out. So Jihuan Wu's out. And you know, Roger Ver, I don't know if he's still supporting Bitcoin Cash. I think he is. I mean, he should just come back. At this point, Bitcoin Cash is a failed experiment. He should come back to Bitcoin, right? We need more people in Bitcoin supporting it and getting people, you know, to understand it. But Michael Saylor's kind of like that new face. Roger kind of just died off. Folks have been telling me about Wisecoin that is backed by ETH. It's steadily climbing. You should look into it. Let's take a look. That's it. It's been out for 2 days on CMC, so it's steadily climbing. Stakewise to earn more ETH. Wise is a unique staking platform that leveraged an unprecedented 96% pre-sale to form an instant massive unremote market on Uniswap. So it's just for staking. Wise product is a smart contract capitalizing on token liquidity information referral system. So you see right there, you know, right away they talk about staking, and then right away they talk about referral system, right? What does that remind you of? Especially this is like the first things that you read, right? It is trying to build FOMO. It's trying to capture people. And they're doing a way where it's almost like BitConnect, because that's what BitConnect is known for. Staking, right? And referrals, right? So I don't know. To me, I don't like the sound of it. Johnny May My ass. Do you think Ethereum market cap could ever beat Bitcoin? No, I don't think so. You know what? I could be wrong. You know, Ethereum could become the powerhouse of the future. It could become the blockchain protocol that all future dApps use, right? Kind of becomes the next Microsoft or Google or something like that. And in that case, and so many people are buying ETH for transactions. This is after the fact that they could scale. Maybe, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. There's so much competition. It's still very early on. And Ethereum has a built-in inflation where there's X amount being released every year. While Bitcoin gets more scarce, Ethereum only gets less scarce. Now, you could counter that with more adoption, but right now it's still very early on. So, I don't know. I just don't see it. D-Man, fun coin. Yeah, Funfair, no. No. Funfair is about creating online gaming and casinos. Too much controversy with that. So, unfortunately, that's going to be a no. Alex, are you familiar with Firm Network? Do you have any input? No, but I can look it up. Just Lurking says Amazon Tesla has a single level referral. Wise improves upon Hex. I did Hex. Okay. If you're trying to make a case for any crypto project, don't talk about Hex. Don't talk about Hex. Because if they're trying to improve upon Hex, okay, to me, that's a no. Instant no. It's just a multi-level Ponzi scheme, basically. Right? So if you're trying to bait, I appreciate the super chat, but if you're trying to bait that Wise is just a better version of Hex, that's a very, very, very bad analogy and bad case, bad use case. That's ridiculous. And I'm surprised people still talk about Hex. Wait, no. Let's do Firm Network. Never heard of it. Low cap, a DeFi ecosystem at what? Why is everyone only looking at DeFi stuff? You got to realize DeFi is only one small component. It's kind of like the new craze right now, and I'm not saying it doesn't serve a purpose. It actually does serve many purposes, but you guys got to stop just looking at the next hot DeFi project. There's so much more that could come out of blockchain and projects overall. But anyways, DeFi ecosystem that interoperates across chains and remove barriers to mass adoption. Okay. So how does it do that? Our interoperative protocol connects blockchains together, enabling the exchange of any digital asset for near zero network fees. So it's like a DEX that swaps tokens. Link-based swapping technology eliminates the complexity of wallet addresses that enables risk-free value transfers over any chat or social media applications. Okay, so they're trying to get rid of wallets and they're trying to build it into chat or social media applications. That's interesting, but I just don't see how they're going to accomplish that. Flexible staking. Yeah, I'm not interested in this. So, unfortunately, nope. That's a no for me. Danny Dan. Yeah, I looked at Band Protocol before. It is an interesting play. I thought they would do more because they are the second biggest Oracle project out there, but you know, second does not mean that they're a close second. They are very, very, very far away from Chainlink. And a lot of other protocols started coming out with their own oracles. So I don't know. I don't know if Band could catch up again. You know, they've done really well in the past, but they kind of just dropped off and not a lot of people paying attention anymore. Sir and I asked, as a new person, should I only buy, or Michael Ken asks, as a new person, should I only buy Bitcoin? My answer to that is yes. It's the surest bet, okay? Bitcoin and crypto can be very volatile, right? And if you're getting in for the first time and you want the safest bet that your investment will not go to zero and it will appreciate over time, right? It has to be Bitcoin. No one else is even close. Now, any other altcoin or crypto out there, although they have potential, you can't say the same thing about them, right? Most of them are not store values anymore. They have inflation built in, so they are becoming less scarce or more. They're not becoming scarce, or they're not becoming. They're, how do you say it? There's going to be more of it in the future. They're not becoming scarce like Bitcoin. Okay, that's what I mean. And there's just so much competition, right? Even though Ethereum is the big dog at 125 billion, you know what? If they continue to have problems scaling, who's to say that Polkadot or Cardano won't catch up, right? So it's very fierce, and there's volatility. There's still a lot of pump and dumps, you know? So if you're getting in for the first time, you should just only concentrate on Bitcoin. Now, after you get your feet wet, you understand what Bitcoin's all about. You start learning about the other altcoins. Then you could dip your toes in, right? But if you're starting out, you got to start out with Bitcoin. Daniel, appreciate that super chat. Have I heard of Proppy for real estate DeFi? I have. I think it's BS. You cannot tokenize like timeshares for real estate. That's just BS. There's a lot of things where you could tokenize, but when you're trying to tokenize something where you're like doing a timeshare with someone, like real estate or art or Lambos, where you don't really own it, you own a fractional piece of it, that's just BS to me. That doesn't make any sense for those kind of things. Bob Yates asks, how does 4 trillion come into the space in 1 year if there are very few coins available? Well, as the dollar amount for each Bitcoin keeps going up and up and up, right, that makes up for it. So as Bitcoin gets more and more scarce over time, this number will keep going up and up and up and up, right? Once Bitcoin gets to $500,000 or $1 million, you know, the market cap is going to be enormous. It'll eat up $4 trillion like it's nothing, right? So that's how it's going to be. Do you think Theta is overpriced? Overpriced is strong. The strong word. I mean, Theta has been running up quite a bit. I've always liked Theta. I mean, I just didn't imagine they would run up this fast, honestly. But, you know, when I first looked at Theta, I loved the fact they had great advisors. You know, some of the founders of Twitch, and also YouTube are advisors to Theta. They also have a streaming platform up already, you know, Sliver TV, right? They have a lot of gamers on there, and they made a lot of partnerships with, especially like Asian TV companies and broadcasters. So there's like constant, you know, shows running on Theta already, mostly Asian shows. So they're doing a lot of things well. But with that said, I'm still honestly surprised that, you know, they're moving up this quick. I think their new mainnet, their new 3.0 mainnet is coming out pretty soon. They're going to introduce T-Fuel burning. You know, they're introducing new stuff, and they got a blockchain patent too for streaming platforms. So they have that too. So they could technically go after any other blockchain companies that's trying to stream. So they have a lot going for them. So I don't know about overpriced, but let's just say I'm surprised at how fast they've come up. Casey, appreciate that. Is Robinhood a good app to you? Well, I mean, relatively speaking, if you're brand new, you don't know how to utilize an exchange like Gemini or Binance or even Coinbase, then yeah, Robinhood, PayPal, Square's Cash App, they're all good. They're all good for buying Bitcoin. Question, for small holder, would you keep 0.2 BTC or 1 ETH? I would, if I had to choose 1.2 BTC. Would you move that ETH into Bitcoin even now? Well, if you have it already, you might as well just keep some of it. If you go convert, I would say 75% in Bitcoin, 25% in altcoins. So if you do own ETH, if you want to convert it, convert 75% into Bitcoin. Keep some of it in ETH in case it does run up, and it's going to help you. Tom asks, what are your thoughts on Terra Virtua? I have no idea who they are. Better not be another DeFi. What's Terra Virtua? Is it Luna? World's first immersive digital collectible platform. Choose amazing digital merch from some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. Showcase trade. You know, me personally, I hate digital collectibles because I feel like collectibles is something that you need to hold in your hands, right? Like art. I don't want to get a digital version of a Picasso. It doesn't appeal to me. I want to get a real Picasso on my wall. Or for basketball cards, for example, because I have a huge stack here, right? Graded cards. Like, I don't want digital versions of cards. So, like, for collectibles, I just don't want digital versions of it. Now, I'm not saying that they don't have value. I'm sure, like NTFs, they have value. People do want it. For me personally, I'm turned off by it. I just don't like it at all. Because I feel like collectibles is something that you want to hold or look. You know, you're emotionally attached to it. You know, not something digital. So that's just me. For those of you guys asking about Litecoin, Litecoin is a store of value. So, despite the fact that Charlie Lee dumped his bags and has been dragging his feet on Mimblewimble, which will probably never get completed, despite that fact, Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. It's a copy of Bitcoin, but there's 4 times the supply. So, with that, and it's also transactions that are 4 times faster. But it still has halving events. It has a set supply, right? So it is also getting more scarce. It is a store value, right? So holding Litecoin for long haul, I would say that's a pretty safe bet too. Now, will it rise faster? Will it move faster in Bitcoin? The answer is no. No. Just like this, right? Gold will always be dominant above silver. That's not going to change. Is silver catching up to gold? No, not really. It's the same thing with Bitcoin versus Litecoin, right? Litecoin will move. It'll go up, but will it ever catch up to Bitcoin? No, it won't come anywhere close. Could Litecoin be 5,000 in the next 10 years? Probably not, no. I'm going to say no. Can it get to like maybe 1,000, 2,000 in the next 10 years? Possibly. Bitcoin by then will probably be $1 million, but can Litecoin get to 5,000? I don't know. I'm just going to say no at this point. You know the funny thing is, okay, here's the honest reality that Charlie Lee and Team Litecoin won't confess to anymore. Mimblewimble and privacy features have been talked about with Litecoin forever. If you look at videos, go back to 2018, 2017, even before, Charlie started talking about Mimblewimble. But then he started talking about why it's not done yet, why he's dragging his feet, is because he realized that governments are cracking down on privacy coins, right? Which is why Dash, Monero, Zcash, they're being delisted everywhere from all exchanges. So he already said this in interviews that he's afraid that if Litecoin has Mimblewimble or privacy features, that it will start to be delisted. So that makes a lot of sense, right? Because the governments want to track transactions, they want to tax you, they don't want to see private transactions. And he said that already. But then, you know, he said that, but then he realized that people are looking forward to it, and he already said it, so he keeps saying, oh, we're working on it, and we're working on it, we're working on it. But honestly, it could have been done years ago. The reason why it's not is because of that reason. He doesn't want Litecoin to be seen as a privacy coin and being delisted, because if that happens, this value is going to tank, right? So that's the honest reason why Mimblewimble is not done. And no matter what they say, like, oh, it's going to be done mid-2021. No, it's not. It's going to be dragged on literally forever because they don't want it to be done. If they wanted it to be done, it would have been done already. I realize I'm out already. Okay. I'm going to let you guys go. It's late. It's past 12 o'clock. I still have to wake up tomorrow. I have my stream tomorrow. But, you know, right now, Bitcoin's at 35,200. Not too shabby, right? It had a massive breakout. It's above 35,000. And who knows, by the time we wake up tomorrow, it could be at 36,000. It could be at 37,000. This 20% drop, you know, was very, very healthy for Bitcoin. It reset all the indicators. A lot of the short-term indicators, they were sky high, meaning that Bitcoin was overbought, right? This drop, and there was two of them that really reset things, right? Gave new life to Bitcoin short-term, gave it new momentum, which is why we're seeing this go up, right? So I do think there's a lot more room to grow, right? And who knows where we're going to end up by the end of the week. We could be at 40,000 by the end of the week. That would not surprise me one bit. It's still early. You know, it just hit Wednesday. So we still have 2 more days, and then we have the weekend. And the last 2 weekend has been very, very, very explosive, right? So 40,000 could be reality by the end of this week. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed this late night session. Hopefully you guys too. So make sure to hit the subscribe button, you know, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and check out my Patreon and my Teachable page in case you guys want more information about Bitcoin. All right, guys, that is it. Take care and see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.